I'm just saying, hey, Mo, can't roll with that. As you recall, I know you making him fun. But I never thought that you would take it this far. What do I know? Flashing lights. What do you know? Oh. Somebody would have told me. Somebody would have told me. Somebody would have told me. Get this typical. In the night, Katrina with no eaters. Go. In the night, Katrina with no eaters. Go. In the night, Katrina with no eaters. Go. Alrighty. What is going on? Okay. Now, these live streams, right, they're a bit weird. You know, I feel like I never ever post them because I feel like they're not valuable enough, but that is ending today. In the classroom, we have got Kaylin's editing lives, got some real-time insights, techniques, pro strategies for better editing, all that sort of stuff. And we figured this out last call. I was on call, I was showing tutorials, and I was like, you know what? This stuff is not valuable enough for anyone to come in and just join and just watch me edit. And so until we get more people coming in here, basically the way we're just going to run this is every editing live, and if you're watching this later, every editing live from now on is going to be like an in-depth tutorial on some sort of effect, some sort of transition, some sort of thing like that, along with you being able to ask me whatever you want. And if enough people join, or even if you're the only one who joins, if you ask me a question, there's a good chance the thing you asked me is the thing that I will go in depth on. And so I'm just going to go on depth on what I think is cool right now. And that is Parzalu's power warp transition is what I think is cool. And so I made it. And I know how to make it. Because I'm just a goated player. And so, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if a lot of you have seen this, but we'll have a look at his edit on Instagram. I apologize. My internet is running a bit slow. I really hate this. It always runs slow whenever I go live. Before this, though, crystal perfect. No loading, no buffering. And every time I reload, it just starts working all of a sudden. Anyway, stop complaining. Where is it? Sorry, not Gabbit. Parzalu. Here we go. Ever since I was a chick, and why was this shit? Alright, ready? This is the next part. Ready? That right there. I know how to make that because I am sick as fuck. And so anyway, I'm going to show you how to make it because I made it right here, as you can see. Different color, same idea. Now, I need you guys to cut me a little bit of slack because I've only made this effect once. Ever. Like, that is it. So, cut me a little bit of slack. But we are going to show you how to make it. So, let's have a look here. Where's the original file? So, the first one we did was her with her hand climbing up. So, that's this one. So, we're just going to make a comp out of her. New comp from selection. Yep, cool. Alright, yeah. So, you're going to have to cut me a little bit of slack. Because like I said, I've only made this once, which means I am going to be referring back to this for just a little bit of guidance. But it's the same thing. You'll learn how to do it by the end of it, and I'll probably know it just a little bit better. It's just how editing works. All right, so let's start off with, I remember the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a depth map. So if we look at this here, this is a depth map. The further away, the darker, the closer, the lighter. And then After Effects can kind of use that information to make a scan that scans from closer to further away or vice versa. And so it's exactly what it's called. It's a depth map. It uses white and black to show you the depth of everything. And so the way you make this is you put on a plugin called Depth Scanner. Now, I'm not going to add it just yet because my After Effects crashes almost every time I enable it. Not enable it, but have it enabled for about 10 minutes. It becomes a bit too much for After Effects. So I can use it, but you only need to use it for a second and then you can get rid of it, and it's perfectly fine. So don't be too scared. Depth Scanner is a plugin that was a little bit hard for me to get my hands on. But because, believe it, I reckon, I bet it was going to be some outrageous amount of money. $100. 100 US bucks. 160 bucks for me. Wild. They are wild out here with the prices of plugins. It's actually insane. Anyway, I got it cracked. I'm not sure if it's in the pack or not, but I'll have to check that. If it's not, let me know so that I can add it. But anyway, so I got Depth Scanner, so we'll add it in. It took so long to download, and as soon as you add it, it'll just automatically have at it. You can mess around with these settings. Not necessary though. Usually it's fine. The normalize, the depth map. Usually everything is just completely fine. I would say I am gonna mess around actually, because I feel like there was something that I did. Normalize depth map. Temporal stabilize. Nah, mustn't have. Okay, well, it doesn't really matter then. You add the depth map, and so you can see. So a lot of people make this effect for images, and they make a depth map in like Photoshop, but you need the depth scanner to do it for a video. And you can see it's kind of having a little bit of flickers around here, but it doesn't matter too much really. It's only doing that as we render, not actually a part of the video. And so before this crashes, what you're going to do is you're going to come up to the render. You're going to go to the export and add it to the render queue. And then you're going to render this out just at your, yeah, just literally at anything. I mean, we'll do it at the H.246. It really doesn't matter. Just render it out. And then pull it to the downloads, and we'll just put it as like delete later. I don't think it's delete later, because when I come back through my files, I'm like, oh, what can I delete? If it's named delete, out it goes. Okay, all right, let's pull this back in. And you know what, actually, I'm just going to clean up my files real quick. Here, just go old. Alright, let's import this. Alright, so import the delete later. Alright, so this is our depth map now. Now, delete the scanner off of this one before it crashes. So now, as you see, we've got the video, the depth map, without the plugin being there, so it won't crash, which is cool. Alright, so now we've got that. We've got the top layer. Everything is absolutely sick. Alright, from here, let's see what we're going to do. So we've got the depth map. We've got a media holder now. Actually, yeah, so that's a good thing. We should rename these. Depth map. And then inside here, I'm pretty sure it's a pre-comp. Yep, cool. Yep, so we're going to pre-compose this, move all the attributes, and then we're going to name it media holder. Cool. All right, so we've got the depth map, got the media holder. Now, the next thing to do is, if I remember correctly, is add this gradient wipe. So this gradient wipe is actually very special, the way it works. So what we're going to do is we're going to add it on. Depth map. Oh, no, sorry. Gradient wipe. And what you want to do is you want to change the gradient layer to the depth map below, and then it'll actually wipe. You see it wipes from the bottom because it's following the depth map. It's following the darkest color to the lightest color. And, you know, obviously, yeah, vice versa. And so that's why we do use the depth map. So now the gradient's going to come in from the black, and it's going to come up to the widest, the lightest parts, which is why you can achieve this effect where it goes down, like across her body. And so we want to change the transition softness to about 15 because it looks really nice. And then I don't think we really need to worry about inverting the gradient until this, yeah, it really depends on what sort of effect you're going for. But we'll start the transition completeness at 100 so that it is completely phased out. And then what we will do is enable my X mouse controls. You don't have to do this. This is just me. I forgot to enable these back on again. They basically just let me edit with the buttons on the side of my mouse, which I like. Okay, so yeah, so now I can do this. Cool, come to the end. Change it back to 0. All right, so if we enable this, now what should happen is it should, yep, see, climb down her body all the way to the bottom. And vice versa, come back up again. And so for now, if we change rid of this, get rid of the visibility of the depth map, what happens is you can see it starts to climb up her body. So as things come closer, it comes up, which is absolutely fucking sick, I think. I think it's so dope. Yep. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to shorten this. We're going to have this come in about here, I think. Yeah, I like that. Just because it's like a transition, you know, so we don't want it obviously over the entire clip. So yeah, I like that it comes out and hits as soon as her hand goes up. So we can keyframe this, easy ease it. There's a weird thing. So a lot of people just do this and they just easy ease it, but I see a lot of editors recently with 2 keyframes like this, especially doing like just this, like just easing in and easing out, like just that, like that. So I don't know, it's really weird, but they do it. So from what I can understand is wherever there's like a point, so wherever there's a little indent, on that side is where it's eased. So for example, this is pointing this direction, this arrow, which means none of this is eased and everything on this side is eased. And so actually if we look at this, yeah, so this makes a bit more sense. So like, for example, if we do this, this means that everything on this side and this side is both eased. But if we just do this, that means only things on this side are eased. Nothing on this side is eased, which is like good for like 3 keyframes, I guess you could say. So like if we look, this is just straight flat because nothing on this side is eased, but everything on this side is eased. And so I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what they do. I feel like just doing this, you know, I achieve the same effect anyway, so I don't think it really matters all too much. Okay, all right, so we've eased that now. We've got the whole coming in transition. Now what we need to do is make the scan that follows it. Now, the scan's very special, actually. It is, honestly, it's insanely in depth just for the scan. Like, the scan itself is pretty crazy. Honestly, I'm not even going to bother remembering how to do the scan. I'm just going to make it into a preset. But what you got to do is you got to duplicate the depth map, drag it to the top, rename it to scan, turn the visibility on so that you can see it. And then we've got to grab all of these effects. And there's also a lot of keyframes that have to do with it. And so we're just gonna grab them all, copy them over, and see what happens. Cool. So yeah, it does make it, which is cool. I think the modes, yeah, on add. Yeah, cool. I did that. Cool. So obviously you guys want to, like, are gonna want to be able to do this. So like, I can't just tell you, copy this, because you know, it's fucking shut up, Kaylin, you absolute bot. But anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna mess around with the. I'm gonna show you how to do it. All right. So number 1 effect, right, is the extract effect. Now I'm pretty sure if I do this, does it add it to the top? No, it adds it to the bottom. And if I do it again, yeah, all right, cool. So I'm just seeing what order it adds it in. So the first thing we need to add is an extract effect. Now, that's extractor, sorry, extract. Now with the extract, you basically, it plays around with with the white and the black, which is why the depth map is such a good thing to have. So it increases what white is showing and it gets rid of what black is there. So it's like, if we just do like a normal layer, like if we get rid of this for a second, we just have this and we put an extract on. So you can see what happens if I decrease this. It takes away the black things first. So anything that's like the darkest color, sorry, anything that's the whitest color, it takes away first. And then with this one, anything that's the blackest color, it takes away first. And so with this, our depth map is black and white, which means what happens is when we do this, it actually takes away from the furthest point to the closest point, which is why we want a depth map of white and black, and why that is so cool. And so back over here, we've got the black, white, and black softness all keyframed. So black point, white point, black softness. Now, we seem to go from 2 to 5 on all of them except for the black softness, which stays at 0. And then we come over here, and then they basically invert. So we'll open up this. This is where the keyframe ends. And so we're just going to invert all these. Yep, cool. And so basically what's happened here is we'll actually watch. So if these stay at their readings of what they are, and we come over here, when we do this, basically the way that it works is like, for example, let's see if we see this here. Once this is decreasing, it follows it. And then if we make this green, it means everything here that you can see right now will have a green line over the top of it. So like, I'll show you. Sorry, not invert. See, like that. Everything between her hand. So like, let's imagine this all scans in. So if we don't mess around with these values, everything comes into view, but with the scan line only covers a certain amount. We don't want the whole thing turning blue. And so basically we've got the depth map, the bottom media holder, and then this is a scan line. So we need to stay a line. At the moment it's not a line. And we make it a line by dragging this behind it and also dragging this behind it. And so what happens now, as you see, and we also turn the softness up so that the line increases in size. And so what you see now is you see a line. Whereas if this wasn't here, there wouldn't be a line. And if this wasn't here, there wouldn't be. So this is like the bottom of the line as it comes down. This is like the top of the line as it comes down. And then this is just how soft it looks. Like how much like blur, I guess you could say it has. And so while messing with those two values, we've now made a gray line that sits on the edge of the black and the normal and goes in between. And that's our scan line. That's what this green thing ends up being. This blue thing ends up being. And so that's really all we need to keyframe with that. After we've done that, you need to add a fill. And so the reason we add a fill is just to get it straight up, just color. That's it. So we add it, go white. I don't think I changed any other things. Nope, so it's invert, it's 100%. Yeah, literally nothing else. We just want it to be, because we just want the scan. So as you can see now, the scan's white. It's not the gray anymore. So it was the black and the gray, but now it's the white. So that's cool. All right, after this, we want to add the solid composite. Now, solid composite's a really cool effect. Cool. Yep, I'm going to add that, make it black. Yep, that's all the settings. And so now what we've got is a fully black-white scan. Very sick. And you can still see the outline of his stuff, which really sells the effect. After solid composite, we add the curves, the tint, and the deep glow at the same time, but we're just going to add the curves and the tint. And so really with the curves and the tint, all these really are is just messing around with the glow of this. So the tinting is obviously the color. So we're going to tint it the blue color because I enjoy that blue color. It's one of my favorite colors. Looks very nice. And then so the curves of this, what did I go with? I went with dragging this kind of just a little bit down and then dragging this just like kind of a little bit up. Hold up. How did I achieve this? I forgot. I think I grabbed here and I pulled it here and I grabbed like here and I pulled it like. Honestly, I'm completely clueless with how I did this. Anyway, wait, let's have a look. I actually want to figure this out now because I can't be the guy teaching a tutorial and doesn't know how to use the effect. They are RGB, aren't they? Yeah, RGB. Oh wait, hold on. No, I see what I've done. Literally just add one here and then just pull this one down. And then yeah, there you go. Makes the effect. Yep, cool. And so as you see, like obviously as I adjust this, you see all this getting like either lighter or darker. So I'm just trying to make it a little bit darker. And so there's pretty good. Oh, actually. Yep, here's pretty good. I like that. I like the look of this. So, you know, obviously curves on, curves off makes it a bit more faded down the bottom. So that is always dope. You know what I just realized? We're streaming and we haven't been able to see the chat the entire time. That's wild, but is what it is. Okay, so we got the tint, we got the curves now. Now after this, what we gotta add is the deep glow just to sell the effect in the end. And so the deep glow, it was really weird. I had to mess around with it quite often. And what I found worked best was just increasing this up to like so much radius. So like so much basically width in the glow, but then deepening down the exposure quite a bit. Down to like half of what it usually is. And then so with that now, what you have is the blue scan. And so now the blue scan follows down the entire body. And I would try and render it, but it's a bit It's a bit picky at the moment. Yeah, see, there you go. Now the blue scan follows down the entire depth map and comes back up her body again. And so that's sick as fuck. And so now to really sell this effect, you want to change the scan line to an add overlay. And now what we should see is, yep, see. So you can see it is kind of messing around a bit. And I'm not too fond of that. Yeah, so really, it's a bit of a hard effect to kind of grasp at, but from what I can tell, is it's there, and then it just cuts. Yeah, it literally just cuts. That's all that happens. So, like, if we just cut it from here. So it comes down, and then then it leaves. Yep, cool. Okay. I'm just trying to run to the toilet real quick. Be right back. Okay, I have returned. Back to the tutorial. Back to the tutorial. And so yeah, this is pretty sick. Anyway, so that's basically the start of the effect, is it cuts out at the end, and that's... But the reason it does this is because in this transition, what you can see is it does it twice. So like it comes in, and then the second one starts to come in as well, which is what really sells it and makes it look pretty sick. Okay, so boom. And then we get the second one coming. Alright, cool. So what's the second one? The second one is the N35. So we'll stick her in here. So it goes Vorts, and then Butts, and then she comes in. Okay, so it's literally just a repeat of the same thing, but now with this. So let's pre-compose this. Remove all the attributes. Actually, sorry, let's not pre-compose this yet. So you just get her. Export the file. Wherever you want, doesn't matter, you'll delete it later anyway. Come back over to the project, import it back in. Oh, back over here. Import it back in. Oh, no, sorry. I forgot to add the depth scanner. The whole point. Add a depth scanner, then do everything I just did. You see, this is why live is good, you know, because you guys get to see everything straight up. Like every mess up, every mistake, everything you can learn from. Alright, cool. Delete the depth scanner. Come back in. Import the depth scanner. Add it over. Drag it to the bottom. Rename it depth scanner. So we know which one is what. Or depth map, sorry. Name this the media, pre-compose it, move all the attributes and name it the media holder. Just so we know which one's got the media in it. And then we have got the depth map. Now, what's really great about this and why I literally just love this absolutely sick is now what we can do is literally just grab this and just straight up copy it over. And you'll notice it does the exact same thing. Now, but what you will notice actually is here, you'll have to change the depth map inside of it for it to work. So copy it over, but just make sure you change the depth map to the one you just did. And so now you'll see is it's coming from the front and going backwards, which isn't necessarily what we want. We want it the other way. We want it coming from the back, from the front going backwards. And so, oh wait, no, sorry, that was correct, wasn't it? Yeah, coming in from a knee. But that is a point I wanted to hit. If you're doing this the opposite, just invert the gradient. And now you'll see it comes from the back forwards instead of from the front backwards. But either way, that works an absolute trick. Absolute treat. So now that is cool. Now we want to duplicate this depth map, drag it up to the top, change its name to scan. Then we grab the scan, grab all these, and then we literally just straight up copy and paste them over. Now, you're probably thinking that this is the coolest fucking thing in the world. I'm an absolute goat. Let's go. That was sick. This is sick. Oh my God. I love when things work so much like this. Cool. Now, like I said, changed the scan to an add, and now we've got this, and it is just so gorgeous. Make sure the depth map is turned off in visibility, and that the scans are both on the add mode. And now what you have found yourself with is this absolute banger of an effect. Now, to sell it even more, what we want to do is we want this first clip to stay in frame while the second one starts. And so, yeah, obviously I cut it before, but just drag it across. So as we see, she comes in and then this one starts and it looks absolutely sick. Now, we do have half an hour left. This is the end of the effect, so I hope that's cool. But we have half an hour left, and I have come up with an idea while doing this that I think might be absolutely sick. And so I'm going to try it because, you know, we're on live and I've got more than enough time to give it a go. And so what I'm going to do is, what I'm thinking is this depth map on the second one is cool, but these two kind of hit each other and it looks a bit weird. What I want to do, right? Oh, this is going to be actually so cool. So if this effect starts here, let's cut this depth map here. So let's cut this depth map so it stops right here. Alright, so if you understand this effect, basically the depth map is kind of everything. So what if this effect ends here, right? Ends right here, and then we turn both of these into a depth map and then rescan over that instead. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, like what I just said, but I guess we'll see. So basically, instead of just making this plane, just her, the depth map, I want to make here forward a depth map. Oh, will it work? I have no idea if it'll work or not. This is the scary part. Yeah, why is it doing that? I want her knee to be the first thing to come in. Not her, not the background. Must need inverting. Yeah, there we go. You know, I'm gonna try it. Let's try it. Let's actually try and see what happens. It might not work, but basically I'm just gonna depth map over all of this. So let's add an adjustment layer. Press X, add to the top, add the depth scanner. Oh, it might work. It might just work, but at the same time, it might just not. But anyway, we're going to give it a go. And if this works, it might actually just look 10 times better than the other way. Alright, let's see. I'm pretty sure it'll just go straight to my downloads. Yep, cool. Render. Alright, let's have a look. N16. Let's import it back in. That's my depth map. Let's pull it over, add it on top, get rid of the adjustment layer depth map. All right, cool. This is my new depth map. This is the media holder. It has the gradient wipe on it. We're gonna dissuade this. We're gonna change this to the depth map. Gonna not invert the gradient. I honestly think this may work just so much better. Possibly. Right, duplicate this depth map. Change it to the top. Change it to add. Change it on the visibility. Copy the effects over from the other scan. And let's see, moment of truth. I don't know. Hold on. Wait, we're gonna change this. No, we don't. Actually, hold on. Moment of truth. Moment of truth. Did I cook or did I fuck up? Too early to tell. It's too fast. That's one thing for sure. I don't know. I don't think I did. It was cool. It was a cool idea. Basically, it was to get the depth map back onto her again before it transitions, but I think it kind of ruins it, honestly. So maybe we just go back to what we had before I messed around with the adjustment layer and all these depth maps, which probably won't happen. Yeah, I don't think it'll happen. Well, it's basically just this anyway. So if we go back to this, I think, yeah, what I did the first go around was definitely the best. And then obviously just add a clip between each one. And then, yeah, through it comes. But that is Parzaloo's power warp transition. And with that, that is the structure of the live. So it only actually took half an hour, which is pretty goated because I have it there for an hour. But with that, I guess that's it. So yeah, you all have a good one.